Hi, it's Monday. It is Monday night. Well, that is if you're catching the live stream. And how do you catch the live stream? By becoming a patron. This this live show is exclusively on patreon.com/JustLatasha with the access of just $5. And if you guys want more access, go up a tier. Give a few dollar or more or two. If you guys want to come on for the VIP patron show, which my patrons join me on video to dissect, and we have a whole post dissection live show on YouTube, which is really fun. That's $15 access tier. And then, of course, you guys start to get merch and cool gifts and all this stuff designed by moi. So become a patron and go ahead and do that. Okay. Welcome to the dissection, hosted by me, JustLatasha. By Latasha. This happens every Monday night, 6 p.m. EST on patreon.com. It goes live to the general public every Thursday on YouTube, the JustLatasha channel, which you are here right now watching that. And whether you're catching this live or in the rewatch, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I think this second season of Euphoria is hella cool, hella thrilling, super exciting. Not based in reality at all, but surrealist drama is my thing. You know, I wrote a surrealist drama myself, which is getting a couple of awards, little accolades on that right now as we speak. It's definitely got some Euphoria inspo. So I thank the creators of the show, and of course I thank my favorite Zendaya because, man, the acting you do in a week, my God, the talent, it has jumped out. Also, I think I'm just going to be given a different look per week just because I feel like, you know what I mean? It's 2022. I feel like it. I just want to explore and play and see where it lands and what happened. I love this color. I'm going to keep playing around with this color. But right now, it's what I'm digging. So, yeah, let's see who we have here. Shout out to the first comment tonight, which is Cleve, who I know you better not be missing no work to come on and dissect. You better get that dollar in this panty. And Kat over here agreeing. Me too. I'm missing work. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for putting the hearts up in the chat. We got an OG patron here. What's up to CJ? I see my patrons coming in. What's up, Khaled? Hey, y'all. Hey. What up, Mosley? I see you. Thank you for putting hearts in the chat. Hey, Leslie. I see, y'all. Thank you so much. So we have so much to go over tonight. Hold on to your panties, kids. We have so much to go over tonight. As we do, because this is a dissection. This is not a recap. This is not a review. You watched the show. We all watched the show. So what we do in a dissection is compare the visuals using our directorial eye to expand what we had already saw. Okay, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a screenwriter. I like to really deep dive and spend ample amount of times with the show and pull out more themes and more story and connect all the dots. Not to see Rue blowing up her nose on a Friday. There's so much more at work here. And I have to hand it to the creator, writer, director, Sam Levinson. You showed your ass. So we are in episode 2, Out of Touch. And what Sam Levinson himself said is this is about what the characters want versus what they say they want. And so I'm going to adjust the color theory that I set up for episode 1. This is about what the characters want, the identity, the truth, represented by the color yellow, versus what they say they want, the mask, the performance, what they're putting out into the world that ain't quite true, blue. Okay, where are you fronting at? Where are you lying to yourself? Who do you feel you have to be to solve X, Y, and Z problem? Which is what I was getting at in episode 1, but it really solidifies and clarifies it a bit more in episode 2, titled Out of Touch. And of course, we also have the color white representing heaven, because what the creators and the writers have set up, the theme of this season is this sort of religious lens, right? The heaven versus the hell, and the conflict that resides for your identity, your truth in between those two worlds. And that's what we're going to do. We're not going to go directly through chronologically the way the show was for tonight, at least. We're going to go by character. So I'm going to be jumping around a little bit, but it's all going to tie up and it's going to be real exciting. It's going to be so good. Are we ready? Tap it. Let's go. So we saw in episode 1 what the characters value as heaven and as hell. But particularly for tonight, those values sort of get ripped away, and we watch each character go through this sort of solitude, this internal journey through this conflict of their identity. And does that bring them hell? And each character sort of goes through this solitude, except one. And I'm sure, thank you, Christine. And I'm sure that we can guess who it is. Okay, here we go. Euphoria. Oh man, let's just do it. How about we open up with this? The white representing the heaven, the hell represented by the black, and the conflict in between. And of course, Nate evaluating which is his heaven or his hell, sort of performing as these two angels. You guys know that thing where a character is existing and you got the good guy and the bad guy on the shoulder. Which one should, right? These are Nate's options. Cassie representing the white, the heaven, versus Maddy wearing the black, the hell. And you can see the clarity in their nails. You can see the clarity in their shoes when they're skipping through that little hospital. Cassie with her little white kitten heels on. Maddy with her sparkly, badass, bad bitch. Tie up black sandals going through the hospital. And they posed the question, or Rue's narrative poses the question, why was Nate in love with Cassie? QTNA, if we're being honest. Because I needed clarity as well. What is this? What are y'all doing? And is this way more than a fling? Which apparently it is. Nate finds himself in love with Cassie, and we can ask why. He could totally be himself with her. This is his heaven. Him finally being able to rest in someone versus a Maddy who is the liege that brings out his darkness, that brings out his toxicity. Maybe if he would have met Cassie first, he would have been a whole different guy. I don't believe it. Sorry, I don't believe it. I think you're a demon. I think you being a demon is who you are. But I'm going to, as we go into tonight's dissection, I'm going to evaluate why. It's a lot of characters that don't know themselves. So the fact that at this point, Nate believes that if it were Cassie, I would have been different. I would have been good. I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. And of course, he is finding that solitude that multiple characters will see tonight. He's finding that solitude when he's in the hospital healing from Fez beating on that ass within an inch of your life. Demon. So in this solitude, he is without the two options of his love interest. So he goes into this entire fantasy dreaming of Cassie. If I could just build a house with her, if she could just be my girl, if I could get her pregnant, if we could just settle in the sun, watching my dad be weird down to the pool, if I could just have it this way, I would be a good person. But he wakes up to a reality, feeling very much like his hell. And what is this reality of hell? His father, right? And why does he need the fantasy of Cassie so bad? Because what he wants more than this dream life with this girl that he's barely connected with before is to not be his father. He needs something to be angling directly against that, because his biggest fear is to not become his father. And if he cannot become his father, if he can make that a reality, who and what would that cost? However, as long as Maddy owns the video, the evidence of his father being the scum of the family, sleeping with Jules, he can't love Cassie. Maddy would have everybody's heads, and she has the perfect trigger. She got her finger on the trigger. I dare you to pull it. I dare you to pull it. As long as Maddy has this item, you ain't gonna be happy if I ain't happy. And if you guys watched the episode back, you guys noticed that the video case is green, right? Because it's who his father is pretending to be, the mask, blue, versus who he actually is in the nighttime down to the motel. being a queer man who touches minors, yellow. So we have the video case in green. Of course, Cassie is suddenly the dream. She would call him out on nothing. Oh, niggas hate accountability, don't they? Let him get away with hell. Maddy got foots on necks. Nate needs to be held accountable for his own demonic ways. And who's going to make him do it? Who's going to make him do it? The gag is Nate was clowning her season 1. What's up, Xylent? Right, after all he said about Cassie to McKay to make them break up, but your ass love her now? All right. Daddy's going to ruin everything. His father is quite literally going to ruin everything. But what is you going to do? Huh? What is you going to do? Now, something really strange and delicious happened in this scene, which I'm going to tie up later as well. Nate does this really creepy smile as we're hearing a baby cry. And we're hearing this baby cry, and we're seeing this traumatic evidence of Nate's face right after we see so much disturbing images of trauma and toxicity. But this baby is crying in a hotel as he is waking up out of his coma, as if something is being birthed. Who and what would that be? What is to be birthed, right? So this is a battle of who he fears of becoming and who he dreams of becoming. So which one is to be birthed? Now, just my hypothesis, just based on the color theory alone, we have white representing heaven, and we have blue representing a mask, a presentation, a lie. And so evidently what I think he would choose is to wear that mask and continue lying about what he wants, right? What he says he wants, even if it haunts him. And we saw that red blood on his face. That might be the most peaceful option between what he actually wants. If you're going to choose Cassie, do you know the hell that would bring? Do you know the hell that would spawn? Wouldn't it be worth being quiet and just taking an L? Right? Who else in your bloodline took the L and lived the mask? The man you trying so hard not to become, your daddy. Nate is his father's son, and he cannot run it. Okay? And this is exactly what he resents, but it's almost like this inevitable happening anyway, leaving Nate out of touch. The title of tonight's episode. Let's move on to the couple, because how could we not? We got to move on to the couple of the night. When Rue sees Jules in school, they go from being in this dark void until some light shines in, possibly going from hell to heaven. From hell to heaven. And the first line Rue says is to Jules, "You're like a dream." Coming right off this scene with Nate, when he's dreaming of Cassie, when he's dreaming of what he actually wants, Rue says to Jules, in this reality, you're like a dream. And that reality hits when Elliot comes down the hallway talking about where they met at and who's who and what had happened, until that reality hits. So going back into what we discussed in episode 1, and we saw this image. When Rue finally called heaven upon herself, finally capturing her love, Jules. But now that I'm seeing black and white, I'm asking, did Rue misconfigure her heaven? Is heaven just outside of the reach? Her and Jules silhouetted in this black. We can't even see them. And heaven right outside of them. Did she misconfigure it by mistake? So if you can only have the love of your life based on a lie, I might panic. I might lose my marbles. I might panic. She is holding on by a thread to not let anything disturb this heaven that she has configured in her life. And Elliot is the single threat that can make this whole thing collapse. And right at this moment, she has a prayer. And we saw her pray to God in season 1, knowing that she don't believe in rehab, knowing she don't believe in church, knowing she don't believe, because her rehab was Christian based. And she's rolling her eyes at death and rolling her eyes at the Bible and rolling her. She don't even believe in this, but we saw her pray in season 1. God, if you don't let me die, I promise. Coming right on to her very second prayer in season 2. Please, God, do not fuck up my life. The only time when she calls God to selfishly save her from a bad situation, as we all do. I know them nights and I drank too much, speeding down the lane, room twisting, trying to get upstairs. And you like, God, if you just let me not be sick, I promise I... He know you lying. He knows you are lying. He knows you're lying. You ain't getting away from nothing, okay? So to bring this all back around, Rue, unlike Nate, who can't have either of his options, she has both of her options. And not having the options is what's bringing Nate into hell. And having both options, having heaven, may actually be what Rue discovers to be hell, right? And unfortunately for Jules, she thinks the affair is this new boy, Elliot, but Rue is actually cheating on the love of her life with drugs. Did y'all notice this too? I loved this shot where Rue is totally not based in reality at all. How did Jules pop up right there? I thought that was really fucking cool. I thought that was cool. I had to rewind it. I was like, because now you're messing with my peripheral and I got an issue. Tell me where things is at and put them still. Stop playing. Jules is like, I actually don't exist. Just kidding. I'm here again. Jules popped up in Nate's visions too. So I wondered if he still wants Jules. I think Jules confirms that he is just like his father. So this is why she was silhouetted. She was a shadow. She was very quick. You almost missed her. It's that nightmare sort of creeping up from your subconscious. Like, you know what you really want. You're still trying to front about some stuff. Great eye. Great eye, niece. Great eye, niece. We don't need no Nate Jr. Let the generational curse die with him. Him and his daddy. Make it 2 plots. Make it 2 plots. A new type of monster is about to be unleashed, I guess, after Fez beat that ass. What is to be birthed? A brand new monster, something we ain't never seen. I'm still keeping my eye on Trevor, the one little Meech is playing this season, the black boy that was smoking with Maddy in the bathroom. I want him to bring some heat, but the white boys got it right now. The white boys got it at this moment. Protect Jules at all costs. Rue was so wrong in these scenes. I was like, girl, do better. It's interesting that one of Nate's first dreams of Cassie is her being pregnant after she just terminated her pregnancy. Almost like he's trying to make her exactly what she doesn't want to be. And we briefly spoke about this in the episode 1 dissection, where he's curating her worst fears. And that's what's really making him engage with her and finding her interesting, because he wants to find all her wounds, as with McKay, and lean into it. Stick a knife in and twist. Nate is he's got to go. Okay, your guy is bad vibes. We know this. He has got to go. Look. Bring Travis back. I want to see what fire he got. Rue doesn't fear dying from drugs, but she also doesn't seem to care if Jules gets hurt in the process. Being an addict is very selfish. Being depressed is very selfish. It is all consuming. It is self-consuming because you have to be constantly filling that void. And that'll take people, money, resources. It'll take anything to make sure you're burying that hole that it's like growing inside you. So let's talk about Cassie, because I seen they was dragging her on the timeline yesterday. I felt so bad, but we're going to talk about Cassie because, of course, we meet her in the color blue, wearing a mask, lying, fronting about something, right? Where Cassie tells Maddy not having sex, puts people on a spiritual journey to finding yourself. Baby, you're fucking. We see you getting down to the get down every episode, multiple times an episode. Okay? Cassie, you're getting down with the get down. Who are you talking to? Okay? And the thing about Cassie, and we're going to spend some time here, the thing about Cassie is that the full extent of her identity lies in external validation within romance. She needs romantic spaces to confirm her own existence. And so Maddy, the real bitch that she is, I don't believe you. Come on, Maddy! I don't believe you. You love to be loved. T-clots. You ever had that friend try to, I don't care. It ain't even, and you like, show me your text then. You ain't text them, you ain't call. You got to call them out. I don't believe you. So here's my hot take, and this is my first one of the night. We're going to do some hot takes. Cassie and Nate, I believe, don't even actually exist to each other. They're not even real people to each other. Nate is using Cassie as confirmation that he could be good, that it's a possibility, and that he could be normal. Which, of course, is the direct fight against his biggest fear, that you and your daddy are one and the same. Cassie uses Nate because choosing herself, existing outside of being sexualized and consumed by a man would be her personal hell. She's not even brave enough to discover who she is on her own. Who is Cassie outside of her desirability? Which I believe people are talking about, Cassie's always nude, she's always nude, she's always nude. This is why. She's mostly shot in nude scenes because she is to be consumed. She doesn't exist. This is literally like porn. It's supposed to feel abrasive and desensitized because that's how Cassie is experiencing herself. All we see is them titties. Nothing going on upstairs. Titties, okay? So when you look at this image of Cassie placed directly in this what's the word when the two sides is the same? Not synchronized, not symbolic. In sync. I'm gonna land on it. But you know what I'm saying? They look exactly the same. They look like a reflection of each other. She's placed in direct opposition and reflection of Maddy because here it is. Maddy is actually the girl Cassie's pretending to be. And this is the tightrope walk of women's sexual liberation. It's the pipeline from the Little Kims to the City Girls. No shade to the City Girls. Little Kim's sexuality was liberation because it was so anti to what society allowed women to be. She had to fight to be herself. Going down the pipeline to City Girls, you can't exist if you're not hypersexualized like Little Kim. Society and men's control literally stripped the liberation away from women's sexuality. Still, I can give a TED talk, but we're not going to do that. We don't have the time. Little Kim's sexuality served a purpose. You can't exist in this space if you're not hypersexualized. Doja, City Girls, whomever. Is that actually liberation? It's not. You literally took the choice away. And so Cassie says, how do I fix that? Maddy says, when you want to say yes, say no. And this is confirmed in that episode 1 experience where Cassie is engaging in Nate, because you should have said no, but she was saying yes each and every step of the way, fully engaging in it, right? Performing, remember she was in that blue dress, performing her sexuality because that is the only language she has with men. Consume me, yes. Affirm me, confirm me. And she wants Nate to confirm her the way he confirms Maddy. But the gag is he sees the real Maddy and accepts, even though he complained about it every step of the way. And he doesn't see the real Cassie and rejects. That was a mouthful. How did I do? That was a mouthful. Oh, man. Oh, man. Thank you. Symmetrical. I wasn't going to get it. It'd be some words that just leave my mind. They just leave my brain. Symmetry. Yes. Thank you. Okay. They are seeking to find themselves off the backs of one another. Because, and great job saying that, if we notice, Maddy is in green. That is the combination of yellow, the truth of the identity, versus the blue, the mask they're wearing. Maddy is in green. She's also in this blue pool with Cassie. So we can also figure out and start asking, where is Maddy fronting at as well? So here's the thing. I want to do some parallels because I did mention the baby and the pregnancy. So just some story parallels. I don't know where they're going with this yet, but they're setting it up now. Nate smiles when the sound of a baby is being born. Cassie wipes Nate's blood off of her legs, and she's sort of showing Nate's blood near her birthing area, right? And we also do remember, it's symbolic that Cassie would have Nate's blood, or just blood by the womb, because she did have the abortion last season. Nate dreams of Cassie pregnant with his child. And then right after, Maddy imagines herself pregnant while also being too young to donate eggs. So something's happening with the pregnancy and the birth and all of that. But I want to see where they land. They haven't quite tied up that story. I think we're just getting started with something really cool here. So Maddy's in green. The mask, blue, meets the yellow, the truth. And what I believe in her sequences of last night is that Maddy seems to be sort of toting the line between childhood and adulthood. She doesn't quite decide, because society says you're 17 years old, you're a kid. But Maddy's grown, leave it to her, right? And so even her taking this babysitting job is sort of like her tapping in with this inner child, having so much fun with little Theo, being the little baby that she actually could be, but admiring and trying to wear the shoes of the woman's house and closet you playing in her house, right? So she's always kind of riding that line between childhood innocence and adulthood maturity. And so when you have Maddy giving this advice to Cassie, when you want to say yes, say no, baby girl needs her own advice, right? And sort of at the end, skipping around, where Jules is the one that gives it to her. So I wanted to look at this because, again, these characters are going through this internal solitude. This is Maddy's solitude without Nate, without her best friend Cassie. And looking at the colors, that hellish red, she's wearing hellish black, right? The blue of the mask, because in reality, she's pretending to not want Nate, but obviously her heaven would be right there next to him, right? So being in the solitude, being alone is her hell. And she finds herself lost without being able to latch on to either of them. So if she's in hell without being with them, what would her heaven be? Herself. It should be, right? The white heaven, the yellow, the identity, the truth of herself. If you are supposed to be saying no, where you really want to say yes, Maddy, what would be strength to you? Be alone for a little bit. Stand on your own 10 toes down, right? And the moment that she can't reach either of them is actually where she should be. But does she notice that? Is she aware of that? Let me wrap this up. So covered in red, Jules ignoring a text from Rue, where Maddy finally confirms her real desire to want to date Nate again. It's what you said you want. It's a mistake, right? Jules says, don't do it. And Maddy responds, I don't know if I could help it. They know that these romances, it's not giving. They both know it. But is love going to override the hell? I don't know if I can help it. Y'all gonna go ahead and do it anyway, or ain't you? Ain't you? Ain't you? Did y'all peep that look her mom gave her ass when she helped her with the dress? Yeah. The way the woman looked at Maddy in the closet. This show was riding the line real close. This show was riding the line real close. Maddy reminded me of a child all up in a woman's closet playing dress up. Exactly, a little baby doll. Now that you say that, I fear Nate might try to stealth one of these girls and try to get her pregnant on purpose. Ooh, it's getting dark. Ooh, it's getting dark. Oh, I think Maddy will end up pregnant. Not sure if it will necessarily be by Nate. I thought it would be Cassie, who's not going to get a second abortion, and it might be a mess, but I don't know. Or actually, Maddy desires some element of danger, which is why I saw Fez as a possibility, but I guess that would have been too on the nose. Maddy hooking up with Fez, because that's Lexi's man. Leave it to her. that's Lexi's man. The mom is a creep. That look had me worried. I thought the mom was going to hit on her. That's so gross. The petty in me was hoping Jules would stop fucking with Maddy if she's talking about getting back together with Nate after what he put Jules through. All these untold secrets. And Jules is still being so soft and beautiful with her and not trashing Nate in the process. Jules accidentally fell in love with Nate too last season because she thought he was Tyler and all this other stuff. Jules is still being real soft on Nate. I don't know. It's up in the air, folks. All of it is just up in the air. It's up in the air. So let's talk Kat. Why doesn't Kat love Ethan? Well, because she doesn't love herself. How the hell you gonna love somebody else if you can't love yourself? Can I get an amen up in here? Looking at the colors, her identity, yellow, the truth of who she is her wound, is her conflict, right? Is this red overpowering her? And it should be okay for people to just say it. I don't love myself. I don't want to be the confident queen. I don't want to be the positivity, body positivity move. I'm not there yet. I don't feel good. I like when people say some real shit. I like when people are not afraid to be ugly and raw and honest. Everybody ain't got it all together. That's why in Insecure, when Issa was up on that stage, I think it was like episode 1. It was the first episode of the final season where she was like, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to figure it out. I don't know if you would have wasted your time. You can't answer that. You might have wasted your, I don't know. I love that because that is humanity. Everything is not clean with the answer and everything got to figure it out and everybody knows something because we woke it. I hate that. I really hate that. This scene was so powerful because she says, I ain't got it. Okay? I ain't got it. And let me tell you another thing. I wasn't really dissecting the first season of Euphoria. I was kind of giving it random ass reviews on YouTube. But I called this last season, that little kitty cat confidence of season 1, it was bull. It was, and everybody's like, cat queen, kitty cat queen, she's so bad. No, it was a front. And not any girl, but some girls who go through their whole phase, it's a front. That hypersexuality is a front because you're still scared as fuck and not loving yourself and trying to get, hello, Cassie, trying to get confirmed by some random dick by a dumpster. Kat got nutted on behind a dumpster by some dropout senior and she felt good about herself. Get out of my face. Because you're playing with me. You're lying. That was not empowerment. I'm sorry. And empowerment be fake as hell like that sometimes. Like that was some bull. And this season, she's looking at her kitty cat mask and being like, I don't love myself. Say it. Allow them to say it. Okay. And so that brings me back to the image that we saw in episode 1 of season 2, that their supposed heaven is an illusion, which makes sense to this color theme now because we saw this couple dressed in black. And if these white pieces behind them were supposed to be representative of angel wings and this religious thematic, the story scheme that they have going on, one angel wing exists in reality and one is a reflection, meaning there is an illusion to what appears like heaven. And here it is. Kat has found her hell. She don't love herself. She don't love her man. And this is all a lie. Purr. Purr. Where we at with it? Let me see what the kids are saying. Let me see what y'all talking about up in here. Okay. I think it's a combination of Kat simply being bored in her relationship, but also that she's not in a relationship where she feels like she has to prove herself. And also, Maddy said something here in this episode where she's looking at Kat and admiring her and Ethan's relationship and saying, I need a little darkness. That's too sweet. I don't think I could do that because that's too sweet. Kat was a full-on dom last season. Like power, like submit to me, like power. Kat did some racy ass shit last season. So if you got a little clean cut, nice guy, it might not be getting the goose the way it needs to be got. Okay. Sometimes you could settle for a perfect guy. If the perfect guy don't hit, it don't slap. The way that Game of Thrones dude came out her closet and slapped on that ass. Sometimes that perfect guy don't slap. We need a little darkness. Good girls need a little spice. Okay. Sorry. I love that scene. Kat is her own worst enemy and so damn angry about it, followed by all of these women trying to affirm her. This is toxic positivity. Love yourself. You'll be okay. Everything will be all right. Love yourself. And it's like, Kat wants rough, kinky sex, and Ethan is not giving, but she won't have that conversation with him. Let's talk about communicating. Did you give your partner the chance to please you by telling him what it is you need and want? Because you could just be mad, sucking your teeth, dreaming and fantasizing about the Game of Thrones in your little bed all night long if you want to. But if you didn't give Ethan the tools to please you, how you gonna be mad that you ain't getting pleased? I don't communicate either, Kat. Fuck it. It don't matter. Like nothing matters. Like, do you understand? Like nothing matters. That was a great social criticism on loving yourself in social media. And they be using Kat to do that because they did it for her season 1 too. And she was the Tumblr queen. She was famous on the internet, but this loser in real life, and seeing how those realities can just like nothing is real. Like nothing is real. Even what the fantasies that you're making in your reality to self-soothe and please yourself versus who you're pretending to be elsewhere. All of it is just can be destroyed so easily. Hello, Basil. How are you? I also think part of why Kat is uninterested in Ethan, even though she says he's nice and handsome, is because she spent so much time reading, writing smut fan fiction in her past. Her idea of intimacy is warped. Beautiful point. Perfect point. Because we also saw this with the way McKay was trying to handle Cassie in sex. He learned what he knew from porn, which is not real. Abusing her, choking her, handling her roughly because he sees his body and he's just doing what he's learned from media in this fake place. And he needed a reality check. Exactly. So Kat spent so much of what she imagines as sexual pleasure in her fantasy, in her imagination, that her reality bores her. Her reality is not good enough to this hyper fantasized version of what should be pleasure, what she understands to be pleasure with her body. And it's a weird place to be, to try to receive pleasure for your body when you hate your body. That's a cognitive dissonance that really needs a conversation that we're going to have another place, another time. That's a cognitive dissonance that really needs some attention. And I've had this conversation on several podcasts a few years ago with women who are sexual assault survivors. There was such trauma and harm and damage done to your body that now when you try to gauge in sexual pleasure in a place where violence occurred, so Kat is imposing this violence on her body and asking for pleasure at the same time. And that's a lot, right? Little does Maddy know, Kat feels the same exact way. Dang. Hi, baby. What's up, Adrian? I love how realistic Kat's journey is. Even when her friends were loving her relationship, everything is not giving. It ain't. It ain't. All right, y'all. Let's get into the villain of the hour. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Nate. Nate, I'm very sorry. You are your daddy's son. You are your daddy's son. Like, what do you want me to say? Two demons, the bloodline, and they got the same enemy. Let's talk about Nate's dad, Cal Jacobs. Now, the foundation of Nate's problem is his white male entitlement. You ain't even a cop. It's giving boys club. It's giving white supremacy. Like, you're not a cop. So you're walking around with a gun, threatening to call up the old boys, trying to solve the mystery of your son. Like, you're not even a cop, right? This is white male entitlement. And we saw that delicious power shift towards the end where Cal is, throughout the whole episode, wagging his gun, swinging this thing, being this threat to absolutely everyone. And it took one moment to make that all come crumbling down. When Cal forces Nate to try to talk about his fight, and Nate reveals that somebody has daddy's video. And the man who's been carrying a gun this entire episode is suddenly powerless when Nate, without a gun, has his finger on the trigger. Now, also, if we're staying in this religious symbolism, Nate and the story has been sort of playing with this power of three and this sort of cross area. So in episode 1's dissection last Monday, I was saying Nate was in the middle of the party, but he's sort of evaluating three options, sort of like that cross. He's sort of standing at the cross, right? And so now that I'm looking at his stitches, which is these three stitches sort of making this cross formation as well, all of it is real symbolic. All of it is real symbolic. And even if you're looking at every scene of last night's episode, a lot of them are grouped by threes. A lot of them are grouped by threes. They're all kind of standing at the cross, right? Ashtray with the blicky, should have shot him. Luckily, it was 20, but it wasn't. Let's dive in with Lexi, who has gone through hell for her man. Because what we said in her last episode was that she is her own hell. She was dressed in yellow and red because she hates how hidden she is. She hates how ignored she is. She hates how she hides from the world. And so when she met Fez, who fully confirmed her and saw her and allowed her to exist, yes, I will dive into this hell. So she came in voice blazing, ready to tell it all, ready to stand up for her man when something really interesting happened. Where Lexi was blaming herself for not using her voice where she should have, thinking she would come in, her voice would solve this problem, but actually it wasn't her voice, it was her silence that ended up being a superpower. She's here to protect her man. Right? In the crossfire of Cal Jacobs, she doesn't say anything. And I feel like this time, and let me know in the comments how you feel. I feel like this time it was power and not a detriment. I saw it as the reverse. But of course, I want to see how y'all feel about it. Because she should have came in and spoke. When Cal came in, she can't confirm it. That would confirm to Cal, this is your man, and then she would be the snitch, and then all hell would come down to Fed. So she's like, I'm a ride for my man. I'm a ride for my man. Ooh, tomorrow when Fesco was under them lights and they flickered, cinema. Oh, that heaven was getting interrupted. That heaven is getting interrupted. That heaven is getting interrupted. And Nate's mom talking about how Nate definitely provoked somebody into beating his ass. Hello? Hello? Yes. And unfortunately, she led Nate's father right to Fez. Because the way Nate is sort of, he's not stalking Cassie, but he's hanging around her environment heavy. And now Nate's dad is stalking Lexi and following him around. She led Nate's father right to him. I don't know, something about it I don't trust. And why Fez ain't check her on that? It wasn't intentional. She was coming in to protect him, like, yo, they know X, Y, and Z. You might want to protect yourself. I don't know what's happening. But as soon as she tried to get into that conversation, Cal came in and interrupted. So now she can't say anything. Now she can't say anything. I'm gonna need Nate mom to just let the world know that she know her husband ain't shit and sleeping around. And her son is a teen. Why would she tell everyone? That's quite a family secret. I would have said nothing. Also, that she's ready for that severance pay when they both dead. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? Oh my God. Please. Oh, I really wanted Lexi to speak up, to be honest. Even something quick like, yo, Nate's dad coming, when she saw him in the mirror. I don't know if she had time though. I don't know. I think Lexi played it smart. Because she didn't know Ashtray was in the back with the blicky, and she didn't know what the plan was because she ain't never been in this hell before. So she new here. Then Julia in the back acting weird. I wouldn't have been able to call it. You looking at the wrong drinks. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's not even in the right freezer. She don't know what is going on. So when she saw this man who puts the fear of death into her, I don't care what color plaid pants she got on, how spicy she's feeling tonight. We don't know what's going on. She's she's a good girl, studied from the suburbs. This is not her arena, okay? She's not ready for this yet. Give her some time. Let her catch up. Ashtray slow as hell. Cat brought this shit, got in a car and drove away, and Ash still ain't come out. So you can't jump the gun. Y'all got to make sure it's a problem before it's a problem. You understand? You got to make sure it's a problem before it's a problem. Okay? I'm from East Elmhurst, Queens. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about either. You think I have any idea? I would fail at being and dating a drug dealer. I would never make it out alive. Let's move on, because I want to really end here with Rue. Who, and I'm gonna come back to the point I made at the top of the show. Rue is the only one who had no solitude. She was the only one who had no solitude. And we see her covered in the yellow color tone, right? Her identity, her truth. Drugs are the only way I can be myself. This is where she feels the most honest, the most like herself, is when she's high as hell. And so her sobriety in itself is a prison. Her sobriety is what makes these fake surrealist moments, because her sobriety is where things are not real. And she has no space to think about who she is outside of both of her desires, both desires, which she believes would be heaven, but actually bring her hell. And I thought it was very interesting. If you guys watch the episode, each and every character has a reflection. Each and every character at some point or another in this episode has a reflection, except Rue, who only has Elliot. It's Elliot, right? I feel so unsure about his name. I don't know why. So tying up that button we put in the beginning, Elliot is perceived as the absolute threat that can make her love with Jules collapse. But the truth is, Elliot is not to blame. He's just a reflection of the truth of Rue. And so what is Rue's truth? Y'all shouldn't be friends. Just the same way you and Jules shouldn't be together. Like Maddy and Nate, y'all might bring the toxicity out of each other. Y'all might not be a good influence on each other. Y'all might bring the darkness out of what you think is love. And so we sort of have these story parallels, right? Where Elliot asks, what's a bigger feeling than love? Loss, Rue says. So here's where Rue's nightmares start to really haunt her, right? Because Rue is fearful of Ali telling her mom that she'll be back on drugs, which is the opposite of when Lexi was quiet, when her voice was hidden. What are you gonna do? Tell my mom or something? Yeah, go ahead. I don't care. Go tell her. Versus when she's with Ali, don't tell my mom I'm doing. Don't do that. What's a bigger feeling than love? Loss. Rue absolutely fears losing her two loves. Jules, a love that Elliot threatens, and drugs, a love that Ali threatens. And we've seen all in season 1, if one of her loves is missing, she fully indulges in the other. I'm in love with Jules because I'm sober. Jules left, I'm getting high again. And it's always that constant exchange. And she spends this entire time lying. She doesn't identify the loss that drove her to these two loves. Her father, possibly her first love, one of her first loves. She lost her father. Wow, you lost him recently. No, it was like forever ago. It's about 3 years ago. That's like yesterday. What denial? What absolute denial? And Rue says, to be honest, if my dad was here, I'd probably still be doing this shit. Really, babe? Really, Rue? Really? So as she lost her father, as she lost that love, she has someone coming in, sort of existing between those two love replacements, between Jules, between drugs. She has someone coming in, existing right between the two in that loss, Ali, who sort of starts to fit this puzzle as the father figure. So if Elliot is her reflection, is she lying to him or herself? There's this really cool shot that I loved. And we're thinking about these religious themes again, where Rue sort of appears to be going up this stairway to heaven. Reminded me of that episode 1 title, Trying to Get to Heaven Before They Close the Door. Shout out to Coleman Domingo. I'm going to leave you alone on Twitter one day. But if you keep looking the way you do, what do you want me to do? Coleman is fine as hell. When I become a writer, I'm going to have to be professional, y'all. I can't put Yaya or Coleman Domingo on my goddamn set. Ali says, I still see you on your suicide mission, which was the big question of season 1. Rue, are you trying to kill yourself? Are you trying to kill yourself? I see you're still on your suicide mission. And what does little bozo say? Let go, let God, little jerk. But also in this shot, there's something really chilling about the way he leaves the frame. And that scares me because I don't want her left alone. I don't want her left alone. That really, the way he walked out of heaven and she's sort of entering by herself. I don't know. It was so scary, y'all. All right. Let me dive in and see what y'all talking about here in the chat. I see my chat going off as it do. Ooh. Guarding the gates. And he like left at that last moment with that hanging empty frame. Ooh. Maybe Coleman Khaled, why you gotta come for me? I didn't even do nothing to you tonight. Like, why you want to take my head off? Like, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Coleman, please. It's giving daddy in more ways than one. It's giving everybody in this house calling him daddy. It's like Elliot is literally her conscience. He feels so surreal. One of the opening scene with Rue and Jules, and she's thinking, this is so awkward. And Elliot says, this is hella awkward. Y'all literally share a brain. Y'all share one brain cell amongst you both. Elliot enables her because she makes him feel something more than those drugs, the way Jules makes Rue feels or felt when she was sober. I wonder if Elliot will sabotage Rue and Jules. He's starting to catch feelings. And I don't know if that was his mom, sister, cousin, babysitter. I don't know who she was sitting up in the house on the living room talking about, oh, that looking a little more than a friend. So are you, sis? What's good? Elliot's catching feelings. So I don't know what monkey wrench is going to happen here. I kind of hope Rue friend zones him. I don't know. It'd be weird for her to date herself. I don't know. Elliot seems very self-aware, though, still with the mess, but he keeps pointing things out. He don't let Rue off the hook for nothing. And he's like the truths that she's running away from. Because even when she's in her full identity, even when she's being honest, she's still very much lying. And he's like, oh, you're on drugs because you lost your dad. We saw you, Rue. We saw you in season 1 pop one of your dad's pills. You wouldn't have had that, and you wouldn't have had that feeling of euphoria had your dad not been cancer ridden. You had your own medications the entire time because you had your own mental health issues, but we know you popped that extra pill from your daddy dying. We know that. You ain't even like your own drugs. You like your daddy's drugs. Faye got me scared. She's going to mess it all up. I'm trying to define my feelings with Faye. Right now, I'm annoyed. She's in the way. Like, she's not helping, and she's in the way. And she's making my baby Ashtray upset. So if Ashtray's mad, I'm mad because What are you doing? Before I go, I want to shout out my new patrons who have joined in order to catch the live show. Thank you so much for being here. I want to shout out to Maria. Thank you for being a patron. Tulsi, thank you so much for being a patron. And Adisa, who's here in the chat tonight, thank you for being a patron who joined an immaculate tier. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone who's watching this live. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone who's catching the rewatch every Thursday on YouTube. Every Thursday on YouTube to the general access. And then if you're here live, this is Monday, 6 p.m. EST, patreon.com/JustLatasha, dissecting the entire season 2 of Euphoria right here, right now. Let's leave some hearts up in the chat before we go. This is a love room. I love y'all. I thank you so much. Come as you are. I accept all. And Atlanta's coming back March 24th. I think we're going to have fun with that. What y'all think? I think we're going to have fun with Atlanta. Now, I was supposed to be in that writer's room because y'all fronted on me, which means I wasn't able to get in contact with anybody and send you my work. However, we're going to have fun. It's delicious. And it's just the amount of weird and black that I love. It's perfect. Thank y'all for leaving hearts up in the chat. All right. That's it. I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all. Let me see. Oh, okay. Y'all being rude. Y'all being rude. Bye, y'all.